because the more Zohran Mamdanis that they see all around the country pop up, he's one of the best mayors that New York has had.
Did you know that a black fourth grader in Mississippi is 2.5 times as likely to be proficient in math and reading as one in California? Mississippi is kicking our ass in education, and for way less money. Democrats, these are your issues. Education, race, the environment.
Welcome back to the channel. Now, Bill Maher is spitting some hot fire right now about what's going on in many of these Democrat areas. It kind of sounds like he's coming from one of my videos. And also we're going to talk about that streamer, I'm sure you know who he is, talking about how Zohran Mamdani is one of the best mayors New York has ever had. Let's get into it.
Did you know that a black fourth grader in Mississippi is 2.5 times as likely to be proficient in math and reading as one in California? Mississippi is kicking our ass in education, and for way less money. We're 37th in fourth grade reading, they're 9th. Texas is kicking our ass in green energy. The average time to get solar panels connected there was 3 to 4 months. About 1,000 days faster than it took me.
So Bill Maher has said what a lot of people have been saying for a very long time. Mississippi is outperforming California in education. And before you guys come into the comments talking about demographics or poverty levels, let me stop you, because my state, New York, spends about $36,000 per student. $36,000. That's the highest in the entire country for the 19th year in a row. And then what do we get for it? Our kids are stupid. Our fourth graders rank 46 in math. 46 out of 51. In fourth grade reading, Mississippi is beating New York. The state that people use as a punchline is producing more literate children than the state spending the most money on education in American history. Meanwhile, Idaho spends under $12,000 per student and still has a higher proficiency rate than New York, California, and the national average. So when Bill Maher says that we're losing to Waffle House states, he's not trolling. He's reading the nation's report card. And the receipts are in, and blue state Democrats don't want to look at them.
How does a state with no pro-climate policies produce better climate results than a state where here, even though we have so much better stickers on our bumper Bumper stickers on our Priuses, you know what I'm saying. I'll tell you why, because you're allowed to build there. Because every third person in Texas isn't someone whose job it is to make sure nothing gets done. Democrats, these are your issues. Education, race, the environment, and I say this with love. You're losing to the Waffle House car on the lawn states.
That's not a Republican talking point. That's a Democrat who's been watching his own party mismanage California for decades, finally saying it out loud. And he's right about the energy piece too. Texas has passed California in solar. A state with no climate policies is producing better climate results than the state with the most bumper stickers. And you know why? Because you can actually build things there. In California, the permitting alone takes years. Bill Maher said it himself. It took him over 1,000 days to get solar panels connected, but would have probably took weeks in Texas. A state that is supposed to be leading on climate can't even get their solar hooked up without a 3-year bureaucratic odyssey. And I'll add one more thing that Bill did not say. California is ranked 37th in education, despite spending among the top 8 states per student nationally. At some point, more money isn't the answer. At some point, the system is broken. Blue states built these type of systems. They ran these systems, and the results are in. Same thing with New York and Zohran Mamdani. He thinks the more money we collect, the better things are. And that's not true. The more red tape they have, the better things are. That's not true either. That's why rent has been so high in New York City. They do not want to incentivize developers to build. They want to keep things as difficult as possible. So that's why the rents remain high, because there's not enough supply for the demand for these apartments. Real quick, if you're new here, hit subscribe. Appreciate everyone's support as we get to 200,000 subscribers. Appreciate all your help. Now let's get back into it.
These think tanks are about me and have been writing extensively about the dangers that I present for the Democratic Party, because now I've moved on from just talking about how shit the Democrats are to actually working with other on the ground groups and organizations like the Democratic Socialists of America and numerous other orgs to actually run candidates that are pro-Medicare for all, that are uncompromising on the issue of Israel, where they're like, I'm an anti-Zionist. Why are we giving unlimited bombs to this country that's doing war crimes, that's doing a genocide? And that's a very frustrating reality for the Democrats, because the more Zohran Mamdanis that they see all around the country
popping up,
and the more grassroots momentum that these people have, the more people are going to look at that and go, wait a minute, you said Zohran was going to be incompetent. You said he was going to be a scary commie.
Yeah. Hasan Piker is out here saying that Zohran Mamdani is one of the best mayors New York has ever had. 5 months into the job. And I understand it's coming from him. He's all a part of that socialist agenda, the socialist nonsense. I really do. But we really have to pump the brakes and talk about what actually is happening here, because he doesn't live here. So in the first month of his leadership, this past winter, at least 26 people died in the cold of New York City. 26 people. And Zohran was getting grilled by city council about why the city didn't move faster on cold blue emergency protocols. His own social services commissioner resigned in the middle of the crisis. There was widespread reports of homeless people being ejected from subway stations during freezing temperatures. We had one of the coldest winters in years. The exact opposite of what his administration said the policy was. And when the council asked why the enhanced 24/7 response wasn't activated sooner, the administration said that the directive was communicated clearly. 26 people are dead, and the response was, well, the communications was not clear. And Hasan is talking about this is one of the best mayors in New York City. We're 5 months in. That doesn't make any sense.
Yep, and yet the budget is balanced.
Yeah, budget's balanced. He's one of the best mayors that New York has had. It's just every time I come here, it feels like I'm entering an alternative universe where like things are working somehow. It's ridiculous. Like we're watching from afar a totally different reality in New York City, totally different vibes. Why can't we have that? And once people start asking that question, once people start believing that the government can help, and the government should help.
Yeah.
Yes. Once they have more confidence in good governance, and once they associate that confidence with democratic socialism, communism, all of a sudden, people are going to want that.
Also in this clip, I guess they believe that the budget was balanced. And technically, Mamdani said that too. But let's talk about what actually happened, because the details matter. Mamdani came into office and found a $12 billion deficit, and he blamed it on the Adams administration. Then spent months threatening property tax hikes before eventually saying that he found a way to close the gap. But this is what actually happened. New York State bailed the city out to the tune of $4 billion. One analyst called it exactly what it was, a state bailout. It wasn't a balanced budget. On top of that, the budget still hasn't been approved by City Council. It requires implementing a new tax on secondary homes, eliminating a tax credit for wealthy residents, and there's warnings that delayed spending can cause the deficit to grow again in future years. So when Hasan is talking about the budget is balanced, that's a triumph of democratic socialism. Someone else needs to pay the bill. The city needed Albany to come in with $4 billion check just to get it to zero. That's not governing, that's a bailout. That's what happened here. That's going to do it for me. Look, I'm not here to be on anyone's team. Democrat, Republican, socialist, whatever. If you're spending public money and the results aren't there, we're going to talk about it. That's what we're going to do in this channel. If you got something out of this video, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to see it. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Appreciate all of your help, and I'll see you guys in the next one.